man, we got to go after it. We got to go after them pot smokers, man. We got to, like I said, 39 guys. And some of those are bad. Some of those are for some pretty bad stuff. As we know, you got Alden Smith, you've got different guys. But, yeah, man, I'll tell you. Anyways, we'll talk more about this with John McMullen when he comes on. We'll talk Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll talk Browns and Steelers and Indians and Buckeyes with him as the Buckeyes. I'm just going to save that for later because I can't. I will talk later about that as the Buckeyes. I mentioned it last Wednesday when we previewed it. I said, Dan, the upset potential is here. Neither one of us thought that would be the game that did it, but I said, man, this team has the tools and the things that you want to have if you're trying to beat the Buckeyes here, man. And sure enough, it happened. We'll talk about that with Dan Wismar. As I said, phone lines are open, 216-539-7535. Your thoughts on the entire situation. Ray Rice here. What's going on? All of that. Hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, on email, on social media, all the different ways as we continue on with the show. We're going to pick back up with that conversation here a little bit later on. So let me get your thoughts in the meantime, and when John McMullen joins us, we'll get into that. Let's just go in the order of things, and there's good, there's bad, there's ugly. We're going to talk about the Buckeyes here a little bit later on. I got to start with them young Indians, man. I got to start there because seriously, let's start with the good, the beacon of the weekend, the light, the ray of light that came out, and it was the Indians this past weekend as they swept the Chicago White Sox. And I was only half joking. I really did say that for those of you guys that listen on a daily basis. I said on Friday, they're going to sweep the White Sox. We're going to sit here on Monday talking about a sweep of the White Sox and now looking ahead and going, okay, here's what's next. And that's exactly what they did. Carlos Carrasco. Let's talk about your boy Carlos Carrasco. Went out there and did it again, man. I mean, how many times before a trend becomes more than just a trend? And I think we've reached that area here as he just continues to pick it up. All of them have. The starting pitching across the board. Just unbelievable here. Is it? You look at this past weekend, you look at the series here and the sweep. Look at the scores, though. There was no blowouts. And, you know, we talked about the White Sox being a team that was circling the drain and ready to toss it in. There were no blowouts here. This was hard-fought victories, you know, 2-1, 3-1, 2-0. This was your pitching showing up, staying for a while, hanging out, eating some lunch, hanging out at the ballpark. Carlos Carrasco just missed the complete game there to complete the sweep. 4 hits, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Again, and you saw that all weekend. Kluber, wasn't good to see Corey Kluber back, by the way. Corey Kluber went out there and did his thing the other night. Just all weekend long, exactly what you needed to see. You can say, hey, it was the White Sox, and, well, guess what? That's what you do when you're trying to get – you can't hold it against them and then not give them credit for it at the same time. You can't say, oh, well, playoff teams don't lose to the White Sox. Okay, well, they win. That's what you're supposed to do, and they're taking care of business, and they are taking care of that team of destiny business, by the way, as they now trail Kansas City 5 games in the Central, 4 in the Central, because don't forget, looming large, that game in hand in the back pocket, assuming, of course, that they can complete those final 3 outs of that game, and then you're 3.5 back for the second wild card. Hell, you're within smoking distance now of the first wild card. I'm just saying, all options. I sound like Mike Pettin in training camp. All options are on the table for the Indians at this point, and it circles back to the pitching and what they've done, buckling things down here. Carlos Carrasco, going back to him because he is the one that ended this thing yesterday. Since August 10th, he's 4-0. 3 earned runs allowed in 38 2/3 innings. I mean, really, and you know what? Terry Francona talked about it the other day. I don't know if you guys heard him. He mentioned how during the time that Carrasco was in the bullpen, that guys were nudging him, Mickey Callaway and some of the front office, and they were, hey man, let's give him another shot. We really think that he's starting to figure things out here, and it took a while before. And you know what? That happens when you get opportunity after opportunity and you don't live up to it. Then sometimes the manager gets a little gun shy about giving you another opportunity. So, he let them pester him for a while, and credit to him. And you guys, this is why I say Terry Francona just pushes. He's the man. I'm telling you, he's doing a better job than he did last year. Because at the end of the day, you can have guys nudging you, but you've got to make the call. It's your decision. And Terry Francona made the call. It was his decision, and he said, "You know what? All right, I'm going to listen to you guys. I'm gonna take a shot at this, and I'm feeling it too." And boom, being rewarded for it there. And again, good to hear. I like that. It shows me. So many times, guys are my way or the highway guys, and you gotta have some of that. You know what I mean? You do gotta be. The buck does stop here because you're the one that gets fired, not necessarily anybody else. If it's your name that's on the door of the office, if you know what it's on the business card, it goes. You get the benefits, but those are the backside of that goes with it. So, anyways, you know what? We can keep talking about this. Let me talk about it with you. I'm going to go to the phone lines right here. Caller, you're first up on the Sports Fix, where them Indians swept the White Sox for the weekend. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Rock, Big Daddy, how do you like them young Indians and that young pitching staff, baby?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we something, man, or what?
I'll tell you what, man. You got to love it. Again, listen, Chicago is definitely down the tubes. I will gladly remind everybody of that. They've now lost 14 of their last 18, but as I said, you have to win those games, and you don't just win 2 out of 3. You have to sweep them, and they're gonna need another sweep in the next week or two to make up for losing 3 out of 4 to Detroit, because now you've got to win three in a row here and there to keep on that 2 out of 3 pace. But they did that here. You mess things up a little bit, so you go out and you can't change it. You can't get the Detroit game back. You can't get the 9th inning pitch back, but you can go out there and you can sweep Chicago and you can keep moving ahead.
Stellar performances by our young Indian starters at home in September, taking care of business. I don't care if Chicago White Sox were in last place, second to last, first place, taking care of business, and that's what we're doing. Now,
I'll tell you what.
Today, in 40 minutes, we got a chance to show the baseball world what the young Indians are made of today with the Angels. And we're going to do that.
I'll tell you what, I was just about to bring that up, and what a good matchup there. If you're looking at what's heading up here for the Indians, when you get Danny Salazar going back out there for the Indians, we know, what did he do the last time that he went out there and pitched? Oh, he just went the distance for his first complete game shutout. On the other side, you got a 16-game winner in Jared Weaver, so you've got a hell of a pitching matchup coming up here, as you said, just about 40 minutes from now live.
And we got to beat their best, and that's what we're going to do. And by the way, Danny, I love those stirrups. I love those old stirrup style on the mound. Hopefully you're going to bring those old stirrups today, baby.
I'm with it, my man. And you know what? Let's end this homestand. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this thing taken care of.
Let's get 30 to 35,000 out there today, J-Rock. Let's pump up those Indian fans.
I don't know about that on the Monday. I love you, Bob. I love you, Bob, but I don't know about that on the Monday afternoon.
This show should be right there in Cleveland, right at the stadium, baby.
No,
Big
I hear
Daddy,
you.
This is where the Sports Fix should have been today.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I hear you, Big Bob. I got to let you go.
Okay, brother.
Big Bob.
Listen. All starts with baseball, Cleveland. I said this time and time again. All begins with baseball in that beautiful town of Cleveland. Let's get 35,000 out there at the ballpark today, people. All right, man. Go.
I love your optimism.
Love you, J-Rock. Bye-bye.
I love your optimism, Big Bob. Yeah, hey, maybe 35,000 people take off work and go hit up the mid-afternoon unscheduled game here this afternoon, perhaps, but I don't care what the attendance is today. I just want the Indians to go out there and take care of business. You know, you've got to go out there, win this game here, get yourself set up to hit the end. And this is what I was going to there. Get yourself set up to hit the end of this homestand. You've got Minnesota coming here. You've got to keep it moving here. And the Indians, I'm up against the break here. I'm going to come right back and keep the conversation going. But the Indians take care of business. They sweep the White Sox. As we said, you put yourself right back in the conversation within, I don't care. I'm going to say 4 games, even though the record book says 5. You're within 4 games in the division. You're 3.5 back of the second wild card. You're what? I don't have the first wild card number in front of me, but I think it's 5 or 6 games. You're 5 or 6 back of Oakland there at the top of that. So just saying, all options on the table for the Indians. And later on, Dan Wismar is going to join us. I know that he's going to have some things to say here, and I'm just waiting to hear from Mike Brandenberry some more. We've been back and forth about this Team of Destiny thing all weekend, man. He's still not buying. I don't know if you're buying, Cleveland, but I'm telling you that I'm going to keep selling it to you. It's coming. It's coming down the pike, my friends. It is absolutely coming to fruition, but you just got to keep it up. And it really is, all joking aside, a hell of a baseball matchup today. I mean, Weaver and Salazar, that's going to be a good one there. And again, Big Bob set it up best. You got to go out there and beat their best. Go out there and take care of a 16-game winner here. And like I said, I'm not done talking Tribe. We're going to take a break here. We'll talk more about that with Dan Wismar in hour 2 when we come back. We're all over the place. Big weekend, a lot of things to cover. Let's take a break. Let's get that out of the way. When we come back, let's talk a little football. Browns football. I see you guys already jumping ahead of me in the chat room, switching the conversation on me. So I'm going to follow your lead here, and we're going to switch it over. The tale of 2 everythings yesterday is the best way that I can put it, you guys. I mean, you talk about a schizophrenic performance there, because we were on the verge of some record woes, I think, man. I mean, I think even the most diehard optimist, Browns loving, Kool-Aid drinking, whatever you want to call it, even they may have been standing a bit close to the ledge at halftime, down 24 points on the road with nothing offensively going for you, and players getting banged up left and right. Jordan Cameron, of course. I mean, how Cleveland? The one offensive weapon that you're going, oh, man, he can big 50-yard. Oh, he got banged up on the play. Well, okay, let's see what happens. And it bogs down, and then nobody can tackle, and it's just miserable at halftime. I just felt myself looking at the team. It was like, did this just happen? Like, now I know what it feels like when the bell rings and you were facing Mike Tyson. You were going out there back in the Tyson days, and you trained for 10 weeks for this thing. You were in shape. You've been running miles every day. You show up like, I think I could beat Mike Tyson. Matter of fact, I think that was a song. I think I can beat Mike Tyson. You hit the ring. You're all trained up and ready to go. Bam! 30 seconds later, they're waking you up in the locker room, and you're like, damn. Mike Tyson hits hard, man. That's what it felt like for me at halftime yesterday. I'm like, man, what happened? And matter of fact, I switched my location, headed over to a buddy's house to watch the second half of the game. And I'm thinking, when I got the invitation, I'm going, you know what? I gotta go, because let's at least change the environment. So at least I'm gonna be around some people, and we can at least commiserate together. So I headed out, switched locations at halftime. Bam. Second half, and here's the best part. We'll pick this up when we come back. Manziel comes out with the helmet on. I'm getting text messages. He's coming in. He's coming to save the day. And I'm like, listen, if you think he's coming to save the day after what I just saw, you're nuts. If he comes in, it's going to be just as bad as what we just saw. I don't know what they can do in the second half. And then they did it. And then, where were you when the Browns stormed back from 24 points down in Pittsburgh only to lose at the end, you know, which, who cares? When we looked at, and I don't mean who cares that they lost. I mean, who cares that I predicted that was the way the Browns would lose. When I said it on Friday, I said I thought they have a hard-fought game, and I thought their youth and their inexperience, Pittsburgh has one more in them than Cleveland does, and I said 20-17 they lose on a field goal. Add a couple of scores to each side. It was a little higher than I thought. Maybe that played out, but I'm saying, who cares? I could care less about being right or wrong about that. Showed some heart. And I like that. But you know what else I like? I like the fact that Mike Pettin said, I don't care. I don't care about showing heart. This is win or lose. This is pass or fail. We're not getting A's and B's and C's and D's. We're getting pass or fail, and we